The Gobabeb, an ephemeral river that meanders through a section of the central Namib Desert, bordering the Namib Sandsea World Heritage Site. It is here, in the buffer zone, where the Topnaar community has resided for generations.
FLC's main aim is to reduce poverty. The funding that we have is development aid, so the development should always aim towards reducing poverty. If we look at the area of Namib Sandsea, there are communities that are one of the poorest communities in the country. And that's how we see that the initiative contributes towards the overall aim of FLC.
For many years, the Topnaar community has resided along the Gobabeb River. The World Heritage Site that is today known as the Namib Sandsea forms part of the Namib National Park. The Topnaar today are living within the Namib Park as well as in the Dorp National Park. The community has used different types of materials to make their homesteads. Nowadays, the only material that they use is corrugated iron. The Topnaar name, Aunim, comes from many years of the language that has been used. The language today is called the Gobabeb, that is having their distinctive noises or click sounds. The sounds. And one of the clicks are in front of the A, that is bringing out the noise, Aunin, when you pronounce. The name means basically people living on the edge. People living on the edge of the Gobabeb River. People living on the edge of the northern banks of the Gobabeb River.
Finland and Namibia has a very long and rich history. Next year in Finland we are going to be celebrating our 100 years of independence. But when it comes to our partnership and friendship and history with Namibia, we will be celebrating 147 years of partnership. So we've been friends long before Finland got independence, let alone Namibia. Our special history started with the arrival of the Finnish missionaries from the Lutheran Church. At the invitation of the German Lutheran missionaries, the Finns settled in another area, and they occupied so-called Ovamboland, the northern area of Namibia. Now the Finnish missionaries, of course, they came with their Bibles. Of course, they preached, but in addition, and actually for the most part, they came here as partners in development, and they were teachers, they were nurses, they were doctors. They established schools, hospitals, clinics, community centers. They were also farmers, as Finland was very much an agrarian country in those years.
In Namibia, our aims have been focused on democracy, good governance, human rights, and enhancing well-being and economic status of communities, which is environmentally sustainable development.
Our aim is to focus on the eradication of poverty. Our way of doing it is to enhance and strengthen local capacity. One example that I have highlighted every now and then is in terms of libraries and multipurpose resource centers. The Millennium Challenge account, the United States funding instrument that has since ended here in Namibia, but has had quite a big influence on Namibia's development. And the Namibian government, of course, has given the manpower and also other resources to those multipurpose centers. And the Finnish involvement has brought in capacity, meaning that through our Libraries for Development project, that project is still ongoing. Finland has given funding for library experts to train the staff, the librarians and their staff, especially with computer literacy, so that the computers that are there in those multipurpose centers can be utilized for the good of the community.
The Fund for Local Cooperation has been implemented in many of the Finnish embassies all over the world. So it has funded several community projects reaching the most vulnerable people and communities, and recently changing a little bit in its format, being a little bit more focused on NGOs that have stability and good reputation in the country.
Gobabeb, a scientific research station that has been permanently located here in the central Namib Desert since 1962. Located alongside the Gobabeb River, Gobabeb was originally built near to an abandoned Topnaar settlement. Today, the station still neighbours occupied Topnaar settlements and aims to maintain a good relationship with the Namib Naukluft Park's long-standing inhabitants. Gobabeb's FLC project coordinator, Meg Schmidt, is implementing a range of training programs which aim to improve the livelihoods of Topnaar community members.
Gobabeb's strengths have always been in arid ecological research and educational training. For the FLC project, we wanted to develop new educational and training programs for the benefit of the Topnaar. One such program was a needlework craft sewing circle, which aimed specifically at equipping Topnaar women in the community with marketable skills. We trained women to make modern products using traditional needlecraft skills. These products could then be sold at popular tourist markets at the coast as a sustainable and culturally authentic source of income for the community.
Nes quadrames que tare kwesiba up kind si o ke khauken ke mau se hai mau sma o kind si ait ma ko cha si ait ma sa se te wana ana cha si pa sa se impetera mona ma ba la bete cha ska khave.
A second training program focused on youth in the Topnaar community. we designed a science educational program for grade 7 learners from the local primary school, JP Brand. These learners were brought to Gobabeb for a week-long training program where we incorporated information about the Namib Sand Sea landscape into the national education standards for grade 7 natural sciences. These learners were selected partly because of their proximity to the Namib Sand Sea. Their school lies on the doorstep of the dunes. The aims of this program were to use the experiences of the JP Brand learners to inform our Namib Sand Sea-centered science curriculum for grade 7s, which we hope to eventually introduce to other grade 7 learners in other schools across Namibia. Our third training program aimed to capitalize on the growing tourism around the Namib Sand Sea by training Topnaar as tour guides. The Namib Sand Sea currently attracts thousands of visitors annually. Many of the growing number of these visitors are often misinformed or have little to no knowledge of the natural history or geology of the area. A large number of the visitors are unaware of the significance of the Namib Sand Sea as a World Heritage Site. The Namib Sand Sea meets all 4 of UNESCO's criteria for natural World Heritage Sites: outstanding natural beauty, significant ongoing ecological and biological processes, an outstanding example of ongoing geological processes, and an important natural habitat for the conservation of biodiversity. Having been residents of the region for hundreds of years, the Topnaar are especially well positioned to share their knowledge with visitors.
The opportunities presented here have enabled the Topnaar to earn a livelihood, receiving direct benefit from the World Heritage Site inscription. The success of the FLC training program is already evident, with some of the ladies' crafts selling in this local indigenous arts and crafts store in Swakopmund. The aim is that through this capacity building initiative, the Topnaar women will continue to not only craft, but also market and sell their unique, handmade Namib Desert products.
The ultimate goal of these training programs is to better equip the Topnaar and all Namibians to understand and share in this unique landscape. The Namib Sand Sea was inscribed as a globally special place in 2013 when it became Namibia's second World Heritage Site. Through this project, Gobabeb hopes to inspire Namibians to contribute to the long-term protection and celebration of the Namib Sand Sea by better understanding it and sharing it with the world.